Hello, everyone. I'm Brady Briggs with another episode of the Combat Logic here. Today, I'm going to go over UFC 264. Now, let's just start off with the main event because that's what everybody wants to hear about. Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3. Now, we know Conor knocked Poirier out in 106 seconds the first time around. Poirier kicked through Conor's leg in the second fight and ended up knocking him out, which is very surprising. It was Conor's first knockout loss ever, aside from his boxing match with Floyd Mayweather, which he wasn't knocked out in. The ref stopped it because he was too fatigued to defend himself. Um, really, there's no shame in that. But he was 21-4 going, or 22-4 going into this fight. His only losses were submissions. Now, Poirier got an early takedown on him, which Conor was able to get up. But what people don't realize is Conor does not want to go to the ground. He's always, this is what Dustin said. He's like, Conor's always talking about, the no rules and no holds barred, the full martial arts package. But then he tweets shit like the first one to shoot is a dusty bitch. Okay. You remember a year and a half ago when he fought Cowboy, he said the same thing. First one to shoot is a call bitch. Like, he don't want to go to the mat with these guys. And Dustin comes back and says, how about the first person to get taken down is a dusty bitch? And I like that. I like Poirier. I like McGregor. I would like for McGregor to win just because of how special he is. But honestly, I think he lost that. I don't think he's as special as he used to be anymore. I think he lost all that motivation after he fought Floyd, made that $60-80 million, and they shouldn't have fucking let him do it because he'll never be the same. No, he hasn't been the same since. The only good performance he's had since then is against Donald Cerrone. He was 0-5-1-1 or no, 0-5-1 or 0-5-1-1 in his last 6 or 7. Co-main event, Gilbert Burns and Stephen Thompson. This is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a really good fight. Now, Stephen Thompson is still that guy. We've come to realize, we thought he was done after he got knocked out by Pettis, but he isn't. He's still every bit as good as he used to be. And Gilbert Burns, I think he's going to have a hard time getting on the inside of him. If he can, he hits hard as shit. He kicks hard too. If you can get a takedown, it's going to be a real tough night for Stephen. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Stephen's probably going to be able to appoint him to a decision and get the next title shot after Colby probably. Feature fight of the night, Tuivasa and Greg Hardy. No, this kind of sucks, man, because I really wanted for Greg Hardy to do well in his mixed martial arts tenure. He's 7-3 thus far. He's really 7-2, if you ask me, because that first loss was a disqualification that I don't agree with disqualifications. Actually, should be 8-2 because he has a no contest for something he shouldn't have gotten suspended for too. So anyway, that's Greg Hardy's story. It's all controversial, all of it. It didn't stop when he came over to the sport, but considering his domestic abuse allegations, I do not believe I don't believe the person who said that against him, for the sole reason they didn't even show up to court to testify. That means they aren't going to win the case. There's no reason in going. Anyways, Tai Tuivasa, I think he's going to beat him. Tai just found a gym to actually train at and take the shit seriously a year ago or half a year ago or something like that. And he was already so talented. Yeah, he would lose fights to better guys because he wasn't fucking training. But dude, who do you know that's that good without training regularly? Tai Tuivasa 2 years ago, who do you know that's that good that didn't train regularly? Anyway, all these training, I don't think Greg is going to do well in this fight at all. Irene Aldana and Yana Kunitskaya. This is a good fight. Yana, she's a good talent. She's got decent striking. She's, good in the clinch. Generally presses her opponents against the cage. Her fights aren't usually the most entertaining. Irene Aldana is a really, really good striker. Her boxing is so fun to watch. She's got really good kicks too. That's going to be a good one. She just lost her last fight to Holly Holm. Hopefully she can come back and win, because if Aldana can get a few wins going, I think that she could get a title shot. And Irene Aldana she's the person that we were hoping would win when she fought Holly, because if she did, she would have got the title shot. And then that's a new face for Amanda. And she's a good striker. So it would have been great. Sean O'Malley versus Chris Montillo. No, Luis Smolka pulled out of the fight. So they replaced him. And it's funny. I saw a meme on Facebook, and it's so true. Sean O'Malley is fighting the Wish version of himself. Go look this kid up. He really looks, I don't want to say like a rip-off version of him because that's very disrespectful. But it kind of looks like that. And it's going to be interesting. I mean, Sean's probably going to knock him out in the first round. The kid is 9-4. I'm glad they got him an opponent at least. Let's be honest. He should have been fighting somebody better than Smolka anyway. Smolka isn't a can by any means. He's a very good fighter. He's not an elite of the elite fighter. O'Malley is obviously a ranked guy. He needs to fight ranked guys. Carlos Condit's fighting Max Griffin in the preliminary main event. That's a good fight. Now, Carlos Condit, man, he has completely switched his game up. No, after he went on that 5-fight losing streak, I think he got finished in like 3 or 4 of them. He switched it up, and he's a decision fighter now. It's so crazy. If y'all remember when he beat Nick Diaz in that controversial decision, that was only his second decision win ever. That was his 28th win. Since then, he's finished Thiago Alves and maybe somebody else. But his last 2 wins are both decisions against Court McGee and Matt Braun. And he's not himself anymore, but he's still able to get wins in the UFC. So that's pretty awesome. I've been watching Carlos Condit a very long time. And I was happy I wanted Matt Braun to beat him. I really love Matt Braun. But he's finally learned to wrestle, man, at least offensively. And Max Griffin, he's not the youngest dude. He's not the most technical. He's 35, but I think he has more fight in him at this point. The preliminary co-main event, Nico Price versus Michelle Pereira. No, I don't know how this is going to go either because they're both really big, really powerful welterweights. And this is going to be a crazy fight, I think. Especially if Michelle Pereira comes out fighting like he did in his first couple UFC fights. It's going to be a really crazy fight. Not like he did in his last 2, when he beat Zelim Mamadiev and who the fuck did he just beat? God damn it. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, how he looked in his last 2 fights. If he fights like that, he's probably going to be able to outpoint Price. Pereira has a lot of potential if he continues to fight like that. But if he doesn't, it could be fight of the year. I don't know who's going to win it either at all. Now, the second fight on the preliminary card, this might be my favorite fight on the whole card, to be honest with you. Let's see. Yeah, dude, this is my favorite fight on the whole card. Ryan Hall versus Elia Toporia. Man, this is a good fight. They finally got Ryan Hall an opponent. Like, the fights are happening tomorrow, so he's gonna fight. Thank God. Because, dude, he was supposed to fight so many people. Like, fucking, he's supposed to fight Ricardo Lamas, and he pulled out, dude. He hasn't fought in, like, 2 years since he whipped Darren Elkins' ass. But, dude, it's like he's getting up there. He's 35, 36. He needs to fight. And now he's got another really, really elite grappler to fight that's actually got some really good boxing, too. Now, Hall, he's got some very underrated striking himself. He's kind of like Taekwondo. Like, he throws a lot of wheel kicks. He's actually very accurate with them. He's got decent hands. Yeah, he's a very dangerous guy. I don't know how this fight's going to go either, man. This is such a good fight. Elia Toporia, man. Remember that name. Dricus du Plessis is fighting Trevin Giles. This is a good fight, too, man. Dricus du Plessis is no joke. He's a former KSW champ. And he's a former UFC champ. And Trevin Giles, he's done well in the UFC, but he's also had some hiccups. He's been submitted by guillotines twice in round 3. Those are his only 2 losses, though. But he also gets late finishes himself. He also gets second and third round finishes himself. He's a good fighter. He's got very good hands. He hits hard as fuck. That should be an interesting fight. The main event on the early prelims, Jennifer Maia and Jessica Ai. No, I used to really like Jessica Ai. And it's not that I don't like her anymore, but it's just she's got this whole war go out on her shield type thing, like Tito Ortiz. Like, it's always excuse after excuse. It's, oh, I've been through so much and I had to do this to make myself feel better about it. It's like, cool. Everybody's been through a lot, Jessica. Like, No one's been through what you've been through particularly, but you haven't been what I've been through particularly. She hasn't been through what all of you watching have been through particularly. Everybody's been through some shit, man. Like, it's annoying. It gets old having to hear that shit. And that being said, I think Justin or Jennifer Maya is probably gonna all grapple her to a decision, or maybe even submit her. Omari Akhmedov is fighting Brad Tavares in the early preliminary co-main event. That's a good fight. Brad Tavares, he hasn't really lived up to what we thought he would, but he's still a very good fighter. He's very technical on the feet. He's a good striker. He's got good takedown defense. Omari Akhmedov is a decent striker. Not great, but good. He's a very good wrestler. This should be I think Tavares can probably outpoint him to a decision. He's not a finisher. He's got like 2 finishes in his whole UFC career. He came over off the Ultimate Fighter 11. That was back in like 2010 or maybe 2011. Anyways, I think he's probably going to do well. And Zhalgas Zhumagulov is fighting Jerome Rivera. No, Jerome Rivera, dude, this kid is 5'10", and he fights at 125 pounds, where he should not be, okay? Like, when you are that tall, everybody you fight, like, when you're that tall and you're in that low of a weight class, everybody that you fight is going to be stronger than you. Everyone. Like, it's just not a good idea. His last fight was at featherweight. So this is crazy. He came to UFC, fought Tyson Nam at 135 pounds. Went down to 125 to fight Francisco Rivera. Francisco Figueiredo, Davison's brother. And then he just went up to featherweight, 145 pounds for his last fight, to fight O'Day Osborne, which that's not a good idea either. Like, you're not big enough for featherweight. Like, you should be a bantamweight. But no, he's going back down to flyweight, fighting a former Fight Nights Global champ. And I don't know, I think Zhalgas is probably going to win, but he hasn't really done that awfully well in the UFC himself. Not as well as I thought he would have. I think Zhalgas is going to take it, though. But circling back to the main event, who do you guys think is going to win against with Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier? Does Dustin Poirier get it done again? Is Conor just not the same at all as he used to be? Or was Conor coming out as a boxer in his last fight and it really cost him?